Yo, welcome back to another episode of Player versus Team, aka PVT. And y'all see I'm back with my main guy, the other half of Inside the Huddle, because you know we be talking that ish. My boy OG Man, what up with you, man?
What's good, man? You know I had to come through. A lot of things going on in the sports world. So, you know, I don't get to address all of it all the time. So, you know, whenever I got some stuff to get off my chest, I got to swing through and check you out.
Most definitely. We love it. We absolutely appreciate having the presence and the energy. So before we get into all of this extra crazy theatrics, we're going to be joined by our other co-host, DJ Michael B, shortly here soon. No Willie today. He is taking the week off for a little hiatus. Got to get right. I'm saying we got to take care of that mental. It is men's mental health month. So got to make sure that the health is wealth, especially in the mental. So like I said, DJ Michael B will be joining us soon. But we do have a new NBA champion. OKC Thunder have won the NBA title in a astounding series, 4-3. How are we feeling about that, man? Quick thoughts.
Hold on. I was trying to. My bad. I was trying to get something. I thought it was, good series. It sucked. You know, Hallie had to go down in game 7. So we didn't get to see what was going to actually happen. You know,
what could have been. Absolutely.
A lot of people put up asterisks next to it. I still think OKC would have won regardless if Holly would have played the rest of the game or not. I just felt like OKC was the best team all season long. This is what it was. And you know, it wasn't as climactic as we would want it to be for a game 7.
True.
But, you know, it is what it is. But there is other bullshit going around. What's her name? Rachel Nichols.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to get to that. I'll hold it and then.
Just a quick analysis before we get to you know, like I said, before we get to the madness. I know a lot of people were talking about the advertisement, the analytics, and you know the numbers and all that stuff like that. And while the numbers of you know the viewing was down for the NBA, I do feel like the series as a whole was you know entertaining. I know a lot of people were expecting or didn't really get the kind of pizzazz that they wanted because it's not two big market teams, whatever the case may be. But for me and for true basketball fans around the world, we actually appreciated the two teams like this in this series because it shows that the NBA is treading in a different kind of direction to where they're not necessarily relying on strictly star power to where they're relying on more built teams. And you can't just sit up here and say, hey, you're my superstar. You guys are my 3 superstars. Take it to the promised land. We got to have actual team camaraderie and chemistry and actually to compete with a lot of these guys. And that team or these teams can take out these quote unquote big threes. And we understand that, you know, injuries did take a big part of it. Like Mel said, some people are going to put an asterisk next to this championship, right? Steph Curry with the hamstring, Jason Tatum with the Achilles, Halliburton with the Achilles, Dame Lillard with the Achilles. A lot of stuff happened this NBA season. But I do think that we're getting back to that old school true form of basketball to where we're not going to see teams just dominated by 3 guys and all of those guys get the proverbial credit. Nah, it's going to be team. It's going to be teams. You're going to have guys you're going to have nights where TJ McConnell goes off, Obi Toppin, freaking just the other guys that people don't normally think about. So shout out to OKC. Shout out to Shea. It's rare to see a guy win MVP, Finals MVP, and scoring champ all in the same year. So definitely hope to see him keep continuing to thrive and grow and flourish. But I like this for the league. I like how competitive that it's become, and I think it's just signs for where it's heading in the future. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to, transition to viewership because, football is still king. You know what I'm saying? Can't, you know what I mean? But all I am saying is that more competitive basketball should translate to more viewership. So,
what I think, competitive basketball, yes. No one wants to see small market like basketball. We talked about this already.
Mhm.
The NBA is at its best when the Knicks, the Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, the Pistons, when
Mhm.
traditional powers are at their best, the
Mhm.
NBA is at its best. Those are your
That's more
bigger
powerful.
markets. That's where your fans are.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, people love basketball in OKC, but the rest of the world doesn't.
They don't know OKC. They didn't even know Oklahoma City was a place.
So it's a double-edged sword with the NBA, and I do believe that the NBA does a really bad job currently, and they've been doing a bad job over the last, I'm going to say, we're in 2025. I would say probably started around 2013, 2014, where they attached themselves to LeBron,
I was
and
gonna
they
say,
and
yep,
ignored where the league and where the fans were going.
yep,
If they would have done the right thing, made Steph the face of the league, and you had your Golden State Warriors run at that time, you would have brought everybody in.
hmm numbers would have exploded.
The problem is the league is doing a very bad job of promoting stars. Like they don't have a global star. They don't have one. And what I mean, I'm just talking about of the younger kids. I'm not talking about the
Mhm.
LeBrons and the Stephs. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm just talking about someone that the younger kids can attach themselves to. Now, you do have Shea.
Yep.
You got Shea. Now, the thing with Shea is going to be is, does he have the personality to hold it up? Now, he's got the engine. Now, if we do this and understand, we take this back to the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. You can make this work. And what I mean by that is get back to advertising the players like you used to.
hmm
Shea is from Toronto. He's got the ties to Drake.
hmm
Make, like we've seen the AI and Jadakiss commercials. We remember we had the Tim Duncan, Missy, Kobe Bryant,
Yep.
Sprite commercials. We had all of those things. We love nostalgia. Remember that? We love it.
Yep.
Bring that back. You got the young kids that can do it. You got the Jared McCains. You got the you got Wemby. You got it. You just have to put them in front of the world now.
hmm
You have to do it. Steph and all of them, they got their fan base. Everybody know who Steph is. Everybody know who LeBron is. We know who those guys are. They need to see the Jared McCains. They need to see the LaMelo Balls. They need to see. I'm not talking about John Morant. That's a totally different thing. You don't want him.
Not in that light, in particular.
You don't want him. You don't want him in that light. You want to get the guys, the clean cut, the guys that are marketable. That's what you need.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, and when it comes to that, I think that was the biggest thing, right? I sent this to both, not because we were talking about this in the Gentleman's Talk chat. When it comes to dynasties versus the parody era, and I think when it came to the dynasty era, right, there were true superstars, not just on the court but off the court, right? You couldn't ignore a Magic Johnson off the court.
Right.
Magic step anywhere, the world stops. Michael step anywhere, the world stops. Isaiah step anywhere, the world stops. Larry Legend step anywhere, the world fucking stops. Right? Now you see these guys, they can kind of just walk around outside and it's like, oh look,
and
Anthony Edwards. Oh,
and
look,
what's crazy about it is because you would think it would be the other way around. Because we have social media.
Right? You would think so. Right?
You would think that these guys would be more popular because of social media, because of the way that society works now. But it's the total opposite. It's like Nope.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think there is a sense of there was a mystique.
Yep.
Like if you saw Jordan, it was like seeing a ghost.
Literally. It's like, wait, what?
If you've seen Magic, it was like, oh shit, like that's Magic. Like now you can go on your phone, you can see Kevin Durant doing whatever the fuck Kevin Durant is doing. You can get Kyrie. Kyrie's online gaming with people.
Yep. Literally gaming with people. Random ass people on Twitch.
You know what I'm saying? So they're more accessible. So what happens is the mystique is gone. The stars feel like us.
And I think that's ultimately the biggest thing, right? Like when Magic said, because the question was, what is a superstar, right? In his definition, what is a superstar? And he said somebody that sells out, somebody that sells tickets, regardless of the fact of what city you're in, they're coming to see that person regardless, right? And we like you said, we understand the LeBrons, we understand the Steph Currys, right? But with the younger guys, I just, like you said, they don't push them enough to the point where, you know, we had because like you said, the nostalgia thing, right? We had the crossover with the Vince Carter and the Randy Moss, right? So everybody was talking about, oh well, let's do that, let's bring that back, and they did with the with Anthony Edwards and Justin Jefferson, but I don't think that those two guys
didn't land. It didn't land because they're not. Everybody loves Justin Jefferson. If you play football, you love Jettas.
Yep.
The world doesn't know Jettas.
The world doesn't know Jettas.
And the same thing with Anthony Edwards.
Exactly.
Basketball heads, we love that. We love Anthony Edwards. Love him. The world doesn't know who he is.
The world doesn't know who he is. And that's the reason why I think it's difficult now, right? Because you can go across the world and you'll see somebody trying to cosplay. Still now to this fucking day, the man ain't played in over 10 years and has been passed away, rest in peace, for 6. And you can still see people cosplaying as Kobe Bryant. Trying to be Kobe jerseys. Still fading away from the trash can Kobe, right? Still people trying to cosplay as LeBron James, Steph Curry. It's like, that's the difference.
You know what that is? Me and my wife was talking about this the other night. Influence.
Yeah.
Influence doesn't have a time frame. Influence is influence. It doesn't matter if you were in the 70s or not. If you were that impactful and that influential on the next generation that came after, that's just how strong your impact was. Look at Allen Iverson. People are still wearing arm sleeves, the braids, the tattoos. He influenced that. Michael Jordan, the influence that Michael Jordan still has on the game today.
Yep.
Magic, Steph. Like when you have these types of guys, like the influence, it builds, like, and then it doesn't go anywhere. Who of these young kids has influence?
And that's the biggest thing, bro. Like, you can't really point out and be like, yeah, he has the most influence in the league. He can be like, he's the one who can take a lot of these young fans and a lot of the old fans and kind of tie them together, right? And when people think of, or when people say influence, when I think of influence, right, we can bring up the Magics, we can bring up the Jordan, we can bring up the Kobe's, but like tying it back to football, right? How you got Jay Jettas, and you got Jamar Chase, and you got a lot of these guys who may be big names in their local cities or towns, or even in the United States, but they're not world brand names, right? And
Jamar Chase could walk in my apartment complex right now, won't nobody know who he is.
And won't nobody know who he is, right? And to pause on Jamar Chase for a second, because I'm gonna go back to that because that's a really good point. But as far as influence goes, and like I said, tying it to football, the most influential person, I still probably to this day, you have to give it to primetime Deion.
Yeah, because his influence. He had the amount of influence.
Everybody still quotes his draft line to this day. Look good, feel good. Look good, feel good, play good. You play good, they pay good.
Right.
It's the influence that I think a lot of these guys are missing. And to come back to the Jamar Chase point, right? There's a video that's about him going around, basically dubbing his girl. I guess she's a famous Instagram model. I don't fucking know. I'm not in that world like that. But basically dubbing this girl, you know, and everybody's like, damn, I can't believe. But it's like, if that is a Jerry Rice back in the day, if that's a Randy Moss, if that's a Chris Carter, if that's T.O., right? Even a Chad Ochocinco, right? Back in the day, like, there's mobs of goddamn people around, bro. He's not going to be able to get to his car. There's a whole bunch of, like, security got to push people out the way. Like, you don't see that kind of, I guess, that kind of energy now for a lot of these young stars. And I guess that's the ultimate question when a lot of people ask, like, who's the next face of the NBA and why. I've seen a lot of conversations personally this season or this offseason, right after the finals, like, oh, well, Shay's automatically the next face of the league. Is he though?
I mean, the thing about it is, do men want to be him, and do women want to be with him? That's how you become a superstar. And who is that of the young group? No, I'm not talking about the older guys, but of the young group, who is that? That's why they're struggling with viewership, because the young group, like once LeBron and Steph, they leave, like, what are you stuck with?
It's for me, it's not even what are you stuck with, it's who do you push forward after that.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say you're stuck with this. Is like, do you push Wemby? Maybe, maybe not. You can't do John Morant is too volatile. You can't put him in the front.
He has to clean up his image, right?
Yeah. Like I said, Jared McCain has the personality, but he hasn't put it together on the court yet.
I think he's still too young in the game too.
No, but it doesn't matter if he's young in the game. Everybody's going to gravitate to that if he was balling, but he's just not balling right now.
True. Still got lots to learn, a lot more to develop.
Same thing with someone like Jalen Green. Jalen Green has all the popularity because of who his baby mother is, but he's just not putting it together on the court.
Yeah, that bad playoff series against us didn't help him either.
So it's, and it's hard because the NBA refuse to pump blood into anybody that's not named LeBron James. And this is their downfall right now.
I was gonna say, I think that's ultimate. They're seeing what the problem with that is, unfortunately, because like I always say, you reap what you sow, and unfortunately, they're reaping the benefits of pushing somebody like a LeBron James for so long without having somebody else to kind of push or to, well, not necessarily having, but without using or pushing somebody else in the forefront, not named LeBron, because now you're in an impasse to where you don't really have anybody to push because Steph is about to be on the way out with LeBron. You have a group full of young guys to where it's really sporadic. Nobody has kind of really separated themselves out of the pack yet. So now you're at an impasse like, well, who do we push forward? Let's welcome and do like a beat to the show.
I was about to say, I was going to say what's up to my man Light Skin over there and see. And then ask, like, y'all answer this question. Now, do we finally see the repercussions and the ramifications of what teaming up has done to the NBA? Because if we're talking about, let's think about what we're talking about, because we talked about nostalgia, and I'm gonna make it all connect in 1 second. Mm-hmm. We talked about nostalgia and how how everybody was pushing against nostalgia. And we talk about the young guys not being, promoted and stuff like that, and how viewership is down and yada, 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 yada. Let's go back to the 90s. Michael Jordan was the guy, right? And that was who the league pushed. But every single team had one or two guys. They had one or two stars. Didn't matter. It didn't matter the big market, small market. They had at least 1 to 2 guys. The Hornets, you had Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning. You had, Reggie, Rick Smits, Mark Jackson, the Knicks. You had Ewing. All these teams had a star, all of them. So the league, yes, Michael Jordan was the catalyst, but there was something for each team to get behind. There was a player that each team could get behind. We don't have that no more. We don't have, like, Orlando. I mean, they got Pap, but no one, when I tell you no one outside the state of Florida gives a fuck about the Orlando Magic.
I would say outside of Orlando, honestly, because
outside of Orlando.
As soon as you venture outside of Orlando, everybody's gonna talk about Miami.
Right. But was that the case when they had Penny and Shaq?
Probably no. Actually, no.
Nope. Like Golden State, they had Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond. All of these, you can run down every single team. You can name 2 guys. You can't do that no more. Like, that was the beauty of the NBA. That's why the viewership was because each fan base had a reason to watch the games.
That's a fair point.
Even with the Raptors, they got Vince Carter.
Yeah.
They had the little point guard, Stoudemire.
Oh yeah, Salim.
Not Salim. Stoudemire, the other one, the lefty.
Damon
Stoudemire.
I was gonna say Damon Stoudemire. Haven't heard that name in a while.
But all of these teams had bodies that you wanted that the local teams could get behind, and when they were big enough that you would watch them if they came on national television.
Well, and big enough for where you would go out and actually buy tickets to go see them.
And then you would go to watch the games. Now, if the fucking I want to be disrespectful. I'm not gonna do it.
Do it.
I mean, you might as well, because I mean, it might be valid. Like,
but but if you getting some of these teams that are playing now, why would you spend money to watch these motherfuckers play? What are you really going? Who's drawing you to go to like a Detroit Piston game? Cade Cunningham? Come on now. You're not buying a ticket to go see Cade Cunningham.
No.
As good as Cade is, and I'm not saying he's not good, you're not buying a ticket to go watch him play basketball.
Nah.
You're not.
I think there's an even deeper reason for this. Like, not even just.
Go ahead.
That's why I asked the question.
Oh, I missed the question. I just heard why
I'm
you
just
was
saying. I was just connecting. Like, do we see the downfall of why you shouldn't put 3 and 4, making these super teams fucked up the rest of the league?
Yeah. And by the way, sorry I'm late. I just gotta apologize. Mel, I like that hat, by the way. I really do. I love it.
Thank you.
It's fire.
It is fire. But now PVT can officially start because I'm here. Hey, how everybody doing? The show has officially started because I'm here now, and my boy Mel is here. I'm happy to do a show with you. I told Moo before I was even coming out, I can't wait to get on this podcast with Mel.
We're here now.
I'm kind of disappointed because I was not expecting to get on this show and agree with you right now. But
this the agreement show. This the agreement show.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, the facts are the facts.
For now, because we still got a lot to get into.
Yeah. We got a lot of show to go. But for right now, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I'm starting to wonder if the league expanded to too many teams. Because even now with you were talking about the super teams and things from let's say the 2020 the 2020s era, right? Or the 2010s era, my bad. 2010s era going into now. I don't necessarily know if it's a lack of dominance by star players or if it's just there's too many teams and it's diluting the talent for great players to play together.
You know what? Me and Mullers talked about this. This is why sometimes we combine the football show with basketball because it was all season. We got to mix it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you tell me this. Now you tell me if I'm right or wrong on this one.
Okay.
What I think was because we talked about why the NFL flourishes and why the NBA does not, and it actually coming on the heels of the draft, it's going to make sense.
Oh yeah, I watched this show. I remember this.
Yeah,
I remember this conversation. But please explain again.
We don't know who these motherfuckers are. We don't know them. Like Dylan Harper should be a bigger story because of who his father is. Like that's a legacy. His brother's in the league. Like that should be a bigger thing. We didn't have that. Like when the NFL has its draft, you didn't follow most of these kids for 3 years, at minimum 3 years. So you're already invested. Arch Manning, watch how crazy the draft is going to be when Arch Manning goes.
True.
It's going to be insane. When Marvin Harrison Jr. got drafted, they had his father and everybody. They did the comparisons and just Ron Harper didn't even stand. Ron Harper didn't even talk. His mom talked, and no disrespect to his mom, but Pops is a 5-time champ.
Big facts.
True.
Like, I mean this, and like I said, but that's the NFL. NFL, the NCAA football and the NFL work hand in hand with each other. Basically, it's a farm system. We get to watch the kids go from Ohio State 2-3 years, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, you name it. We watched them get drafted. We've been following them for 3 years.
Yep.
Bro, I don't know. Ace Bailey, I only know him because he played with with Dylan Harper. That's it. And I follow Dylan because I know his pops. The rest of them dudes in the draft, I have no idea who they are. I have no idea.
Everybody only paid attention to Cooper Flag because
you got Flag, but I didn't watch a single Duke game.
I mean, I watched Duke because I'm a fan, but outside of me being a fan, I wasn't really paying attention to Duke.
I only watched Duke in the tournament. I know who Cooper Flag is, but other than that, I didn't watch a Duke game. But I think even deeper, the one and done rule has to go away. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that.
No, that's exactly the point I was trying to make is like go back to at 3 years from. But the thing about it is there's too many outs for high school kids.
Yes.
There's too many out. Like they can go to the G League. They can go overseas. They can do other things other than go to college.
Which to me is fine if you don't want to go to college. But see, I think college is fighting back with the NIL, knowing you can make money in college now too. Mm-hmm. But I feel like one of the things that's missing is the growing up phase in college or outside of the NBA. Like even if you choose to go to OP or you choose to go overseas and things like that, right? You would sit there and establish a fan base, or you sit there and establish some kind of market for yourself, and people would get to know you. And the one and done rule, I wish they need to go back to, if you go to college, you got to spend 2 to 3 years in college. And I don't mind you coming out of high school if you think you're ready. Fine. You come straight out of high school, whatever. You make it, you make it. You don't, you don't. If you don't, you go to whatever, redefine your tools. But if you go to college or a different league other than the NBA, just like in the NFL, you should have to stay there for years. You need to stay there more than 1 year. I don't care how good you are. The beauty of NCAA basketball is no matter how good you are as an individual, it is hard as hell to win a college championship because when you get to the tournament, it's one and done. It's not series. And that's why they say stars and legends are made in the NCAA tournament. Eminem say you got one shot. You got one shot to prove yourself in this NCAA tournament. That's where you see people like Kemba Walker. Those legends are born. People like that are born because you have to perform at the highest level. A lot of these dudes right now, they're so highly touted. They're everything when they're coming out of high school and get to college. But when it comes to tournament time, the team is knocked out. They don't return back to college to try and go back for the second time. It's like, well, I'm going to the NBA because the NBA has shifted from having veterans on the team to taking in young people to immediately come over and build a franchise around. That is the biggest discrepancy in basketball right now. And I wish I can go back in time and grab my brother and my cousin. Y'all can hear the conversation we used to have, right? I think y'all would agree with this, Mel, especially you. People come out of high school thinking they know basketball. They think they know X's and O's. They think they know how to play defense. But we all know when you get to college is when you actually grow and mature into the player that you're going to be in the future. A lot of these dudes coming out of high school don't understand X's and O's. They're just extraordinarily gifted, and they've been riding on their gift their whole life. Even if they worked their ass off, they had to have a different kind of gift. Even if it's just height is your gift or speed is your gift. You had to have some kind of gift to get where you were going. Part of the problem is now you're so young, and these young niggas think they so wise. They think they're so wise, and they think they understand everything, and they really don't. And the NBA has shifted more towards a younger field. So, like somebody like I think Jalen Green is 23 this year. He's been in the league 4 years now. Mm-hmm. And the Rockets trading. I'm a Rockets fan. The Rockets trading was like, yo, you've been in the league 4 years. You should have it figured out by now to be consistent to when you go into your first playoff series. You should be killing it. And that is not the facts of it. He should not.
I'm glad you went there because that was literally where I was going to go next. Is because they're using they're taking kids and saying, well, they'll develop. I'm like, well, they could develop in college. Because think about it. Holly was sitting on the bench in Sacramento doing nothing. Look at him now. Shea got drafted. Now tell me the Clippers couldn't use Shea now.
I would just like to point out, though, Doc did not want to trade Shea. He got there. He didn't want to trade Shea in that trade. But they absolutely said they wanted Shea in order to get Paul George. So they traded him.
But the thing about it is when you don't know what you have, that's what you make decisions like that. You just make decisions. Oh, well, he's young. Facts. You make those types of decisions. And if Shea was in college for another 2 years and he developed and you saw this Shea, the last 3 years Shea, he's better than Paul George. So you don't need Paul George. But because he came in so young and he hadn't matured yet, he hadn't developed yet, you convince yourself, oh, we'll get the veteran, he's better. Now look what happened. Now you're looking for a point guard, but the point guard you had just won MVP, Finals MVP, and the championship, averaging 30 points a game.
Well, on the flip side of that, on the other side of the finals, Tyrese Halliburton is kind of in the same predicament when Sacramento was just like, gave up on him.
Yeah, because you drafted, you got De'Aaron Fox, you got Halliburton. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's too much. Somebody had to go. Then you end up getting rid of both of them. Now look where you sit with nothing. It's stupid because you're not allowing, you're getting these kids too young and they're not developed yet. Not to say that they won't, but you put yourself on a timetable that the kids are not on. You're telling yourself, well, we're only going to give him a year or two to get his shit together. What if it takes 3?
But you know what, though? That's another point just to life in itself. If I'm 18, I just got out of high school and go on a job and I'm 19. Nobody's expecting me to perform like I'm 23, 24, 25, 26 those first couple of years. Everybody on this job understands, like, well, he's still kind of a kid. He's gonna be late a lot. He's gonna call in. He's gonna do this because we've all been there at 18, 19, 21, and 22. But these kids are coming in the NBA at 19 after 1 year of college, and they're telling them, no, you're supposed to be mature. You're supposed to be the backbone of this franchise. You can't do this. You can't do that.
But that right with that part right there is the difference between me going into a job and just being an employee, or me coming in and be like, hey, I need you to be the top salesman this year. That there's too much money on the backs of these young kids. They don't have time for these motherfuckers to develop. And that's the problem. It's you're putting pressure on someone who they haven't even shown the ability to do it in college. I'll give you the two examples on how if you were smart, you would have never did it. Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You would if you just take at face value what those two guys did in college, take their attributes off the table. I don't care about him being 6'10. I don't care about none of that bullshit. Because if he was that good, he would have got LSU into the tournament. You know what LSU didn't do? Get into the tournament. Same thing with Markelle Fultz. Production has to mean something. And how are you basing your draft? If you're only drafting off potential, you will lose every single time.
Let's go back to an episode of PVT, developed v underdeveloped. A lot of guys with that one and done rule come out underdeveloped, come out not developed at all, thinking that just because they got a lot of talent or because they got a lot of athletic ability, that's going to carry them. And they expect a lot of their coaches in the league to develop them instead of being developed in college.
And you know what? I can give you somebody on the backside of this, right? And I think, Mel, you would agree with this. And the person I would say on the opposite side that stayed in college and everybody knew was Tyler Hansborough. I don't give a damn how good Tyler Hansborough was in college. You saw all 4 years of Tyler Hansborough in college, and all the NBA teams knew, like, yo, he was really good in college, but he does not have star or superstar potential. He might be good as a starter or as a bench player to come and give you quality minutes. I was one of the ones looking at Tyler Hansborough's games like, it's the star power is not going to translate to the NBA. But he's a really good college player because he stayed there long enough for you to understand what his game was and for you to not know, and for you to know his name was not going to translate to the next level. And that's what we're missing now.
Yeah, and you got to there's something when you're playing in college, and if you're a one and done player, there's one thing that you miss that makes the greats of all sports, whether it's college football, basketball, it doesn't matter.
True.
Adversity. You got to go through some bullshit. You avoid the bullshit with the one and done. If your team loses in the tournament, you don't get to hear you didn't get your team into the Elite Eight. You didn't get your team to the Final Four. You didn't because you don't go back for the next year. There's no scrutiny attached to you. You just leave. Like a lot of those guys, like some of those dudes had to deal with losing in the Sweet 16 or losing in the first round. And then coming back the next year like, no, we got to right our wrongs. Where's that at in these new kids?
Well, they're getting paid so young. They don't have that want. They don't have that. Like Charles Barkley once said, these kids are getting paid too much money. Like back in the day, if you weren't a star player, you were getting paid pennies to the dollar. Now you could be the eighth man on the team and you're going to make millions. You could be the eighth man on the team. You're going to make $3 or $5 million easily a year just for being on the roster. We're paying you $3 million just to stay in shape.
That's it.
Basically. We're paying you $3 million to occupy this roster spot because we have to have it.
To be ready.
I guarantee you, Mel would take $3 million right now, just to stay in shape until he's 60 a year. I promise you.
I'll take 500,000 just to stay in shape.
That's what I'm saying. All I got to do is, bro, I'm telling you, all I got to do is show up every day and work out. Man, what? I'm taking that money to the bank.
I was like, look, I will save you even more money on the salary cap. You ain't even got to give me all that. But a lot of it, the NBA, I think they would benefit from kids staying in college longer. Because I think the fans will get back to it. The fans will get back to appreciating the players, and college will get back to what college basketball used to be, man. When was the last time you really sat down and watched a good old-fashioned Duke, North Carolina rivalry game?
It's been a while.
They're all one and dones now, so it
doesn't feel the same. There's no heat between those two scenes. Like not watching that would be. It's football did the same thing. Not in totality, but the same way Notre Dame got rid of the Michigan Notre Dame game. Like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, that's a game that everybody used to look forward to. Doesn't make sense. This Notre Dame, Stanford, Notre Dame, USC. They're finally playing Miami this year, so we get to get that again. But in college basketball, what made the pageantry and all of that stuff was the rivalries, and the kids, they were into it.
Yeah,
football, I give them football. The rivals, they still don't like each other. Then Michigan, Ohio State, it is what it is. They don't like each other. It's the Red River Shootout, it is what it is. It's always going to be that. Alabama, fucking Auburn, it's always going to be that. It is. They didn't lose that. So the NCAA basketball has lost that feel. So what happens when they lose it, it just trickles into the NBA. So the NBA has lost it. We don't got NBA rivalries no more. We don't even care about Lakers Celtics no more.
Because they haven't matched up in the finals in I don't know how long.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't feel, it doesn't feel big no more. The Bulls Knicks used to be a fucking bloodbath. Bulls Pistons.
Well, yeah, Bulls Pistons. They used to be events.
The Stars used to not. And the Stars are too friendly with each other now.
Yep, we've been saying that for the longest time.
You know what I mean? Like, we have to get back to, not saying you got to be nasty to each other, but where's the competitive fire to be like, yo, I just want to blow you off the court today.
Shit, you might say we don't have to get nasty with each other, but fuck that. At this point, they really do. They really do. That's why I appreciate somebody like Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards Anthony Edwards is cool with whoever, but once we step in between these lines, he's going to and I think the lore of what it was back then was that we didn't know a lot of these players off the court were friendly. Like Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing were friendly. Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley were friendly. Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were friendly, right? But the problem with and I attribute this a lot to social media nowadays. And y'all can quote this. I'm just telling you. I've been saying for the past 5 or 6 years now, most of these guys are like, you get off, I get off. You get off, I get off. And I'm okay as long as you don't go off on me and I can't answer back. If you end with 30 points and I end with 28 with a couple of assists, at least I still had a good game. Look, I'm okay with that. See, these guys don't take pride in shutting each other down. Like look, all of us are friends right here. Me, Mumel, listen, we're all friends. Okay. I'm not the most athletic person in this group. Matter of fact, I'm probably the least athletic person in this group because I busted my ankle when I was 14 playing soccer and I couldn't play no other sports. But you best believe, no matter how friendly we is, if we get on this basketball court and we play, even if me and GQ was to play against Mel and Moo, and it's like, hey, Micah, you're guarding, let's say I'm guarding Moo. I don't score. But I'm gonna come on here and say, you know what? I didn't score, but Moo didn't fucking score either, bro. So that's what we're gonna do. It evens out. And it was on Mel and Jeremy to see who won this game. I'm taking pride in my defense. These dudes don't do that. They don't take pride in killing each other.
No, because they don't. Fear of embarrassment outweighs that. They don't want to be embarrassed. Like, if you go for a block and you miss, they want to clown you for it. You go for a steal and you don't get it, somebody's going to clown you for it. You get crossed over, they're going to clown you for it. Think about what they did with AI and Jordan. When AI crossed Jordan, everybody is just like, yo, AI crossed him, this, that, and the third. AI will tell you, but the motherfucker almost blocked my shot. We look at it two totally different ways. Like, you don't not give up on one side to give somebody else. Allen Iverson idolized Jordan, but he said, when I'm going after him, though, like, he said it. You don't get Allen Iverson without him. But we lacing them up, and I'm going to go get him. And that's just what it was. Like you said, Charles Oakley and Jordan would hang out together before the Knicks games. You wouldn't know that by the way they were playing on the basketball court.
Hell no.
You would never think that. But that's the mentality shift that Kobe talks about, or Kobe used to talk about. And I'm only doing this because this is the segue, because I'm glad Michael B is here. This way now I can get into it. Because it's a perfect segue. Because again, LeBron has started something. And I don't like it. Irritates my soul. And I know y'all touched on it before, but I wasn't here for the show, so now I'm here. Saying that ring culture is toxic and bad is stupid.
It's full of shit.
But do you know what's worse than ring culture? No ring culture. Do you know why? Because these bum-ass niggas think that they're as good as the niggas who won rings.
Talk about it. Hey, talk about it.
Tracy McGrady thinks he's fucking Kobe Bryant. He is not. You are not Kobe Bryant. You will never be Kobe Bryant. You can't even be compared to Kobe Bryant. Okay? But this is what happens when people say, oh, championships don't matter and championships are team accomplishments. Fuck that. If you are a star player, elite player, you know what you do? You elevate your team to championships. And if you're a real nigga, you elevate your team to multiple championships. Okay? The worst thing Kobe Bryant ever did was tell Tracy McGrady he was nice. That shit was a lie. He should have never told that bum-ass nigga that. Never should have told him that. Fuck Tracy McGrady. Okay? Look, and I'm gonna stand on this. We had the show. This I told you we're gonna disagree now. Look, Tracy McGrady had the nerve to say, if you drop me on the Lakers with Shaq, we were gonna win championships.
Okay, that's a little okay. Okay. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you, I fuck with you on that point because I don't think Tracy McGrady was Kobe. Okay, so and I'm a T-Mac fan. I am I'm a Rockets fan. I'm a T-Mac fan. So I understand that point with what you're saying there. I think the thing that a lot of fans get into is that talent equates to how good you actually are. And that's the difference, because Tracy McGrady could do damn near everything Kobe could do, right? He could hit the turnaround. He could drive to the basket. He could dunk on people and things like that. And I love T-Mac. T-Mac was my guy in high school. I freaking love T-Mac. But when it was time to put your team on your back and elevate, make the winning plays, make the right calls, and elevate your team, make your teammates around you better. Tracy McGrady couldn't do that. And that's the thing. Like, look, I will never sit here and say Tracy McGrady and Kobe weren't almost equally talented. But you being talented and you being how good you are with the talent with the talent you're given naturally is completely different.
I will even tell you, Tracy McGrady's more talented than Kobe.
Right, right. Yeah, right.
But the thing about it is, like you said, your talent means nothing to me if the talent doesn't translate into real production.
Hey, Mel, you know what they say back in the day? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work harder. And I'm telling you, nobody worked harder than Kobe. Nobody. Tracy McGrady was more talented.
And McGrady, and then, I didn't have the opportunity. Like, bro, you were on some really good teams.
He did have the opportunity. That 2008 Rockets team won 22 games in a row. I don't care if Yao Ming got hurt in the playoffs. I really don't give a damn. You shouldn't have lost the series.
That's where you put the cape on and become that guy. Because we've watched all of the guys that we consider to be the guys. They've thrown the cape on and fought against all odds to get the team to the finish line. That's what makes you great. And this whole this bullshit that championships are a team accomplishment all of a sudden is ridiculous to me. It's absolutely stupid to me. It's dumb.
That's your boy LeBron.
It's a team sport, my nigga. That's the ultimate goal. That's what we go to training camp for. That's what we go to mini camps for. That's what when you are a kid, when you're in Little League, they started this. You know when we were doomed? When they stopped keeping score in T-ball. Once they started doing that, they was like, oh, well, we can't keep score because the kids are getting, discouraged. No, you lost, little nigga. Come back tomorrow and get it together. Be better. Be better.
Hey. Yeah, we lost when everybody started getting a fucking participation trophy. I don't like it, man.
Feelings have no place in sports. They don't have a place in sports. And just for all you Go James Kingdom, Johnny, we're coming. We'll be on the show.
We're on the way.
We'll be in a couple weeks. We'll be there, sir.
Go James Kingdom? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going. I pray for y'all. I'm not going back there. Moo, you know why. You know why too, Mel. You was on that episode. You were definitely on that episode. Yeah. So fuck all that.
We got some work to do. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I got more work to do. I got more work to do. But
just school them niggas, please.
Oh yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. See, the thing about it is, let's just say you right, LeBron. Say you right. Championships are team accomplishment. Then that means we have to go to individual accomplishments as a player, as a singular player. What did you do as a singular player? Simple math. This is where now we can't use longevity, LeBron. Stupid. Because the longevity doesn't work for everyone. Because now we have to just look at what you did in your time.
Facts.
You have all these points, 48,000, 50,000 points, whatever the fuck it is. How many scoring titles did you win? 1. You got all these assists. How many assist titles did you get? 1. Never defensive player of the year, never led the league in steals, led the league in scoring 1 time. Like all of this dumb shit. But then you go to a dude like Jordan, where he's led the league in scoring 11 times total points, and then 10 scoring titles, 4 steals titles, defensive player of the year. Like all of the shits, MVPs, more. Finals MVPs. Finals MVP is an individual stat and accomplishment. I'm taking the championship off. 9 first team all defensive teams. All of this stuff, it don't matter how you slice this cake, dog. Jordan is the best to ever do it. it doesn't matter.
Let me jump in here real quick, and I think you're going to appreciate the take I'm about to say, right? So, pertaining particularly to ring culture, and Moo, you've never probably heard me take this stance, but it just kind of popped in my head just now. Mel, you've never heard me take this stance before too, all right? A lot of people talk about when Jordan retired, or let's go before he retired. Before Jordan retired in what was it, 92 or 93? The first time. Okay, so I heard a lot of people saying by 1990, everybody was saying Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And I want to push back on that. And let me tell you why I say I want to push back on that. Everybody that you talked to before then, other than Isaiah Thomas, dry ass, hating ass, whatever, was like, yo, that is, and Mel, you're older than me and Moo. You know what I'm saying? You were around when Jordan had just came to lead those first couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was saying Jordan was the best player they had ever seen before he even won a ring. I want to reiterate, he was the best player they had ever seen. The best.
After the 88 season, because he did something no one else had ever done.
Right. So everybody was saying he was the best player. Nobody was saying he was the greatest until he won those first 3 championships. I want to reiterate this. Moo, you were on Inside the Post when I did this the one time. Look, the GOAT versus the BOAT is a very real and live thing. Michael Jordan has skewed the line. Okay, like, what's the guy that was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith before? I can't think of his name right now.
Max.
Max gave a very good soliloquy on the difference between greatest and best. He said, hey, look, if you line up everybody right now that has been running the 100 for the past 10 years against Jesse Owens, everybody is better than Jesse Owens right now. The facts say he's better than Jesse Owens. They're better than Jesse Owens just because they have ran faster times, right? You know they'll all beat Jesse Owens. But under the circumstances Jesse Owens was when he won all of those gold medals, none of them are greater because they didn't win the gold medals against their peers when it counted the most. That's the difference between best and greatness. And Jordan has skewed the line because he was the best during his time, and he ended up as the greatest during his time too. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people skew that line, and that's one of the things that get on my nerves when people were like, Jordan ain't the greatest, LeBron is the greatest. How could LeBron be the greatest when greatest is based off of accomplishments and Jordan has way more? And people are like, well, what about, I think LeBron is better. Really? Because the 30.1 points per game all time being number one says different. The most all defensive NBA teams says different. The second most blocks by a guard all time says different. During his era, he was number one in blocks by a guard all time by far. That Jordan skewed the line for a lot of people out here.
Right, and then you got the thing, and also it's just like, okay, everybody understand. Everybody likes to say, well, LeBron has the most points and he's got this, that, and the third, and the most rebounds and all the rebounds. But we had that. That was Kareem when Jordan was playing. That was Kareem.
Yep.
And everybody saw that and was still looking at Jordan like, no,
he's the best.
He's better.
Yeah.
He's better. Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
There were still people that were looking at Jordan like, yeah, nah, we still got Jordan, bro.
Because before he retired the first time, everybody was saying he was the best.
Right. Like, and people, and it's weird because I always got to check people on this. And like, stop saying 6 rings because it's 6 rings, but rings are different. This is why championships matter, because it's 2 3-peats. No one has that. It's like trying to compare Kobe's 5 to Tim Duncan's 5. They're not the same. Kobe has a 3-peat and a back-to-back. Tim Duncan has 5 championships that are individual. He never went back-to-back.
I would just like to say I would just like to say that shit haunts me till this day. It is one uphill battle for me to say Tim Duncan's championships are equal to Kobe's. It is very hard.
And because what happened, because what you're trying to, what you prove with these types of champions, we talk about dominance, and dominance is how many can you string together, and the Celtics with the Bill Russell Celtics, 11 championships in a row is nuts. It's insane. I don't care how many teams was in the league. I tell people all the time, I really don't care about that. It was what it was. You still got to win them. Damn it. Like, I don't. So when you get for a dude to win 3 championships, take a year and a half off, come back and win 3 more is insane. That's stupid. Dumb. It's like when Nick Wright was talking about, LeBron James had the greatest 8-year run in NBA history. I was like, no, he didn't. From 1990 to 98, Michael Jordan had the greatest run of any basketball, and he didn't even play 2 years.
I would also like to say with that bullshit with Nick Wright talking about LeBron James had the great. Did everybody forget that in an 8-year stretch, Larry Bird won 2 championships and won 3 MVPs in the league? Like, people just conveniently forget that shit.
Because in order to do it, this is what LeBron does very well. LeBron paints the picture that he's the only one that's done anything. And his fans will tell you, oh, man, Jordan played against plumbers. Oh, well, Jordan, he was getting his ass beat by the Celtics. You're right. Oh, well, he didn't play no team as good as the Warriors. Nigga, the Celtics were the Warriors, you fucking dummy. Are you dumb? Do you not know who was on the Celtics team? Like, all of it, like, a lot of these, they're too young to understand how good the Celtics were, how good the Pistons were, how good these teams were that Jordan was playing.
The Celtics were literally the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors got Kevin Durant. Like, even after they got Kevin, the Celtics had 4 Hall of Famers on their team, all of them in their prime when they were beating up on Jordan. That's how I know people don't know basketball history. They just don't.
And they live in that. They'll live in it. Oh, well, Magic was old when Jordan played. Magic was 31.
No, he didn't.
He was 31 years old.
31. He was not
okay.
old.
So I love to. You know what? Let's play this game, Mel. Right? I hear people say all the time, "Well, all these teams were old when Jordan played." So okay, let's run this. Was LeBron not in? Was LeBron not in the league 11 years before he won his first title? So LeBron had to wait until the Spurs, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Mavericks all got old before he won a championship. You know who didn't have to? Dwayne Wade. Mm-hmm. So we gonna nip that shit right there in the bud, talking about, well, Michael Jordan had to wait till all of them was old. Magic Johnson wasn't old. John Stockton and Karl Malone wasn't old. They were in the middle of their primes.
And the crazy thing about it is that they'll say that the teams was trash. Like, and I tell people, I say, y'all don't really understand. Like, when the Bulls won 72 games, do y'all realize the Sonics won 69? Like, you don't
talk even, about it.
You don't even talk about that shit. Like, the first time they played the Jazz in the finals, the Bulls won 69 games, I think, that year. The Jazz won 65.
Mm-hmm. Karl Malone, Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton. Like, these teams were Byron Russell. These teams were loaded, bro. And
they were good.
People don't do their homework, because what they see now is Steph Curry and everybody else running the court and shoot threes. Yeah. That's fine and dandy. But back then, everybody was shooting twos and going to the basket. You were scoring at a more efficient clip. You see Gary Payton talk about, hey, Jordan wasn't the person that was hardest for me to guard. It was John Stockton, because John Stockton would shoot 6-7 times a game and still end up with 21 and 10 because he made all his free throws, made a bunch of layups, made a couple of mid-ranges, and you look up and out of nowhere, this nigga got 25 with 10 assists, and you want to know where the hell this shit came from.
Yeah. And another thing, because I'm keeping, like I said, I'm keeping this on Kobe because everybody's acting fucking dumb. Because all of a sudden now they saying like, well, if you Gilbert, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna call you Gilbert because it just makes me feel better to say Gilbert. He all of a sudden Kobe's championship don't count because he was the number 2 option. Now, if you want to say Kobe was the number 2 option for the first championship, I'm not gonna argue that. But after that, no. And we never referred to Kobe and Shaq as Batman and Robin. We never did that. It was Batman, Superman. It was always, he was never a sidekick. He was never Scottie Pippen. That's not who Kobe was. And if that's the case, and D Wade and all these dummies coming out of woodworks talking stupid shit, so then none of D Wade's championships count then. Because he was a sidekick on all of his. He was a sidekick when Shaq got there, and he was a sidekick when LeBron got there. So what are we talking about? If that's what we're going to do, if that's how we're going to talk about it.
This is the problem that I had with Tracy McGrady and his comments, right? First and foremost, like my brothers have said, we're not talking about the talent that Tracy McGrady is, right? Because we understand the type of talent that he is. But the player, the overall player that Tracy McGrady is not Kobe Bryant. No. That's the difference, right? You cannot take a Tracy McGrady and drop him on the Lakers and think that just because he's playing with Shaq, they're now going to cap off 3 championships like it was with Kobe. That's not how that works. Reason being, because like I said, they're not the same player. They may be on par talent-wise, but as far as player-wise, they're not the same player. Tracy McGrady is known to come up small in big moments. We have seen this on multiple occasions.
And he don't play defense.
We have not seen that from Kobe Bryant outside of one time, right? Outside of that one time where everybody talks about, oh, he missed, he airballed 3-pointers and blah, blah. After that, what happens? The man is in the gym. He's working. His work ethic is fucking crazy. Everybody's trying to get to Kobe's work ethic to the point where now he's looked at as a maniac. Now he's looked at as crazy. Now he's looked at as this. Now he's looked at as that, right? To where in those moments in Game 7, he doesn't have to worry about coming up small because he's always prepared for it. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. That's why you can't take a Tracy McGrady and put him on the Lakers and oh, well, he's right. That's all I've been seeing. Oh, well, he's right. Go look at the numbers. I don't care about the numbers.
I got an even deeper point with Kobe, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, and I don't care. All right. Game 7 of the 2010 Lakers Celtics championship.
But
right. Kobe won like 6 of 24 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the best game, but Pau Gasol did. I want everybody to understand. And
neither.
Right. I just need everybody to understand. Kobe realized that he wasn't playing well because he was getting double and triple team every time. Right? But he understood that Pau Gasol can take whoever he wanted to one-on-one. No disrespect to Kevin Garnett and Kendrick Perkins. They were getting schooled in this series by Pau Gasol. True. They really were. They absolutely were. Paul Pierce kept the Celtics in the series as long as he could, and then Game 7 came along. Kendrick Perkins was out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the true testament to a leader is to pass up a lot of the times not only the shot, but to defer to your people who is scoring. And I know a lot of y'all going to be out there like, well, LeBron defers. And it's like, yeah, the problem is LeBron defers all the time. Kobe sat in his own thing and said, you know what? My shot ain't falling. I'm going to have to defer. Kobe found another way to affect the game. Kobe played hard, no defense. He had a lot of assists. He had a lot of rebounds. my main issue with a lot of people always citing back to this game is that, well, look, Kobe didn't take the game winning shot. No, he didn't. But he commanded a double team and stayed aggressive the whole game. Mel, you know basketball. I know you're going to agree with that. He made sure that he commanded a double team. Kobe was balling in that game 7.
But that's
and a lot of people don't understand outside of scoring. Scoring is not the only thing to win a game of basketball. So when we criticize LeBron about he didn't do this and he didn't do that, is because you can make this a one-on-one game, because most of the time LeBron is in single coverage at the end of a game because nobody's scared of LeBron to shoot the ball at the end of the game. They're like, we're going to sag off. We're going to force him to shoot the basketball and this and that. And I'm not saying LeBron's not clutch. I know a lot of people out there, he think LeBron not clutch, but LeBron got the most game winning, blah, 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 blah. You know what's crazy? And Melamu, listen, hear me out. If LeBron got the most game winning shots and people want to point to that as he's the GOAT, let's go to football. Who got the most fourth quarter comebacks? Tony Romo. And Tony Romo ain't the GOAT of shit, right?
Look,
all right.
My thing is, but this is where, if you got the most clutch baskets, whatever that shit is called, it is what it is. Then why do you have the most losses? At some point, that shit got to equal something. And the fact that they said, oh well, Kobe played like shit. Kobe still had 23 points and fucking 16 rebounds.
Talk about it. Found other ways to affect the game.
Powell shot like some shit in that game too. Like, he just didn't shoot as bad as Kobe. Like, but that was a defensive game. The score was 83-79. Like, it wasn't like it was 140 to 146. It was a defensive battle. Nobody shot good in that game. Nobody. So the fact that they hold Kobe, his feet to the fire for that, is nasty work. Nasty work. But it is what it is. But all of a sudden, I don't know what this obsession is to all of a sudden talk down on Kobe Bryant, like Kobe just wasn't him.
I don't understand either. It's very weird because you didn't hear this when he was here. Like,
right, you wouldn't say that. Oh, Kobe wasn't this and Kobe wasn't that. And Kobe. Nah, nigga, like, you are bugging, and I don't know who started it. I don't know why it started, but it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
It's weird. Nobody, it was consensus amongst everybody in basketball conversations, at least when I was coming up, at least when I was in college, right? And that wasn't too far off from this time period that we are in now, right? When this conversation first started to rear its ugly head. Like, Kobe was a consensus number 2 behind Jordan. Like,
it's always been, and now all of a sudden, Kobe was never mentioned in the GOAT conversation. Since when?
And like, now all of a sudden when he passed, because a lot of people are trying to put this narrative that, you guys try to glorify his name now that y'all trying to besmirch his name ever since he passed. Ever since Kobe Bryant passed, bro, I've been hearing nothing but Kobe disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
From past players and fans alike, when this was never the case. Never.
And I will give Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson all the credit in the world.
Big facts.
Because everybody else, for all of a sudden, turned into a bunch of bitches. I don't get it. Like, everybody wants to throw dirt on Kobe's name, like Kobe wasn't that. Like, we all watched it. We all seen it happen in real time.
Literally.
How many of you motherfuckers was spitting Mamba mentality out your lips? How many?
What?
All
like
of
I said
y'all.
Earlier, how many of y'all were shooting paper balls and baskets yelling Kobe?
He was a skit on Chappelle. Come on, dog. We're not going to do this. We are not going to do this.
I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all, right? I absolutely hated Kobe Bryant, okay? While he was playing the game of basketball, I hated him. And I'm a Rockets fan, so you know why I hated him.
Yeah, okay? As a fan, like I said, but as a fan, I totally understand that.
Right. So I hated him because every year they was knocking the Rockets out the playoffs. I could not stand Kobe. And then when Robert Horry went over to the Lakers, and hit that shot and won the. Oh, bro, I wanted to break everything in my house when Robert Horry won 3 championships back to back. But back to back to back. Let me correct myself.
Yeah.
But the respect for Kobe for me was always there. I always knew Kobe was at least top 2 in the NBA his whole career, other than like the first 2 years when he was still trying to find his way. But by the time they won their second championship, there was no sidekick. And that's the reason why the Lakers went on a three-peat. Kobe would score 25, Shaq would score 26. Kobe would score 29, Shaq would score 32. There was a Batman, and there's no Batman and Robin in the Lakers three-peat except on the first one. After the first championship, there was Batman and Batman. And then going forward, I think a lot of people tend to forget that Kobe won more championships than Shaq.
Yeah, like
after he left.
And I think
I don't care that they had the same amount of finals MVPs. Kobe got more championships.
Yeah, like that brings it right back to the beginning of the conversation of why championships are, yes, it's a team accomplishment, but that's how we separate the good from the greats and the greats from the greatest. We've always done that. We've always done this. I don't know why all of a sudden LeBron wants to tweak it and change it as if it's not happened. Like it's never been that way.
Because he wants to change it and tweak it because he knows he has 4 rings, and he's like, oh, my 4 rings. Matter of fact, if rings are a team accomplishment and stats are individual, Kobe scored more points than LeBron in the same amount of game in less games than it took LeBron to pass him. Jordan scored more points in the games than it took LeBron to pass him. So it's just like, what are we talking? LeBron ain't never been Kobe on defense. He never been Jordan on defense.
Who's the greatest point guard of all time?
Magic Johnson.
John Stockton has more points, more assists, more steals, all of that. But what does he not have that Magic has?
More first team All NBAs and more championships.
Like, so clearly the stats don't mean that much. Not saying they don't mean anything, but what we really care about is, did you elevate your team? Now, if John Stockton would have beat Michael Jordan in the finals, how heavy does that championship weigh?
That weighs big time. That weighs big time.
Like, but that's the point. It's like championships mean something. That's why
on both of their legacies.
On both legacies. Because if Jordan loses, the mystique of 6-0 doesn't exist. See how that goes now? Now, Jordan he'll still be considered the GOAT. But 6-0 is like a shadow cast over the earth. Like you gotta understand, Mike, that 6-0, it became the barometer for everyone, not just basketball.
Yep.
They asked Derek Jeter, what was your biggest regret when you retired? I didn't pass Mike. Tom Brady, when he was gearing up, and Julian Edelman asked him, he was like, what's motivating you to do all this? I got to beat Jordan. I got to get more than Jordan. Nigga, you play football. It's not even the same sport.
Yeah. Tom Brady was what, 7-3?
7-2. No, 7-3. 7-3.
He lost to the Giants twice, and he lost to the Eagles once.
Yeah. Like, so Michael Jordan he's the barometer for greatness. Not just basketball, but for greatness.
Sports.
Yep.
He's the measuring stick. That's why he's the GOAT. That's why. It's because it transcends basketball. It's for everything. It's like Kobe. Mamba mentality transcends basketball. It's for everything.
Yeah. It's like Kobe
no one does anything. Nobody relates anything to LeBron in that sense. He's a great basketball player, yes, but it doesn't transcend basketball.
Damn, I never even thought of that, but that's a good ass point.
Like, that's why his argument, it doesn't hold any weight. It's because who outside of basketball wants to be LeBron James? And people in basketball, if you ask them, Kobe and Mike still gonna come first. That's what makes him great. When you see the Jumpman logo, you know what that is. If someone talks like, man, what kind of mentality do you want? Mamba mentality. Doesn't matter. What do you attach LeBron to?
Off court.
I mean, yeah, off court.
Off
If you're
court,
talking the person of LeBron, but as far
But
as
I'm just saying, like LeBron's greater impact, and people could disagree all they want to, but LeBron's greater impact is off court.
But what has he done off court?
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. You asked, so I was like, well, his greatest impact is off court.
But even that is like, but off court, that's what I'm saying. The Jumpman logo, the Jordan brand goes everywhere. That Mamba mentality, you can talk to NASCAR drivers, you can talk to tennis players, you can talk to soccer players, you can talk to business people, you can talk to anybody. They'll talk to you about the Mamba mentality. It's not so much the case. There's not so much the case when we're talking LeBron. And like I said, that's good.
I would just like to say I have never shot a piece of paper in a trash can and said LeBron. Nor have I ever dunked a piece of paper and said LeBron. Nor have I ever laid up a piece of paper. Shut up. Nor have I ever laid up a piece of paper and said LeBron. Every single time. And I know a lot of people going to be like, a lot of people older than me going to be like, oh, that's because you didn't say shoot the J or that's a J, this and that. I said Kobe.
The Kobe. How many times have you fake left, fake right, spun and shot a piece of paper in the basket?
Oh, a lot. Oh, a lot.
It's either Kobe. It's either Kobe or Jordan when you was doing it.
Oh, Kobe. Yup.
Like, we don't influence, and before you got here, me and Mulder was talking about influence. What makes you great is influence. Wayne Gretzky influenced an entire generation of hockey players because of influence. Michael Jordan influenced multiple generations because of influence.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Mel?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people fight me back on this, and I just tell them all the time they don't understand basketball. I will go to my grave saying Allen Iverson had a greater influence on basketball than LeBron James.
No, that's what I was going. That's the next name I was going to get to. Is like, if we was going to build a Mount Rushmore of the most influential people or players in basketball, most influential 4 people: Magic, Jordan, Iverson, and then you can cherry pick either Dr. J or Steph Curry. That's number 4.
I'm gonna put Steph, and that's my Mount Rushmore right there, because Steph affected this damn 3-point revolution deeper than Dr. J invented the Flash. So
yeah. And that's why I said you can do it either way. I wouldn't be mad either way. But the 3 locks: Allen Iverson, Magic, Jordan. And I would say Steph too. I would always pick Steph, but I know how much Dr. J influenced a
oh yeah, for sure.
True.
So you can go with that, but definitely, I don't think outside of Michael Jordan, no other player has impacted the culture of basketball other than Allen Iverson. No one. Like, not to that. Like, everything that you see now, the headband, even though I know they wore headbands in the 70s and shit, but they wasn't AI. They wasn't the cornrows. It wasn't the tattoos. It wasn't the arm sleeve.
It wasn't the fro with the headband halfway up.
Yeah. Like, he impacted. Like, Jordan introduced hip hop culture and black culture to the NBA in the 80s. Allen Iverson picked that shit up and ran away with it.
Yeah.
And that's another part of matter of fact, we'll talk to you backstage on this one too when we get done. I think another portion of, because we're going to have this conversation as well, a bigger portion of why to me the NBA is failing right now, because I think it goes hand in hand with hip hop. If you ask me, the downfall of hip hop is tied to the downfall of the NBA, because those two things were always intertwined. To me, being from New York, knowing how big basketball is and how big hip hop is, it was always.
I got to get up for this.
It was always merged. When you get,
I got a lot to say on this one, so I'm gonna let you finish your thought, and I'm gonna chime in.
Okay. And so when you think back, how the emergence of Michael Jordan, when you had Spike Lee doing the commercials and the songs and everything was the dress, everything was hip hop. Everything about Michael Jordan that built him was hip hop, because he felt like us. That's us. We're looking at one of us. Mike going to slam dunk contest with the little gold chain, and once he got the baggy shorts and all that stuff. Once he changed the look of basketball, and it made the sneaker revolution happened because of him. Because it was tied to hip hop. And then
Nike wasn't famous.
No, Nike didn't even make basketball shoes. They was making track shoes.
Yep.
Then you get what Michael Jordan did, and then you get the Fab Five, and then everything that happened with that. Then you get to Allen Iverson. It's like hip hop was a big part of basketball. So when hip hop went to shit, basketball went to shit. To me, I put those two things together. I always will. When hip hop gets back to being hip hop, basketball will come back to being basketball.
Well, because you had a lot more collabs of hip hop and basketball players back in the day. You just don't see that nowadays.
Yeah, and the sneaker commercial, think about, when they had the LeBron and Kobe puppet commercials, and think about how Sprite and the Pepsi and all of these brands were part of the NBA. We don't have that no more. We just don't have it. Basketball doesn't feel like it's for Black culture anymore. I said it.
You know what, Moo? Mel, I just got to tell you, before I came on this podcast, and I told Moo I was going to disagree with everything you was going to say just to make good entertainment out of PVT tonight. But I couldn't, because you on here spitting facts. Absolute. And it even though it's getting on my nerves, because I want to go back and forth with you and all this. You're spitting facts.
We ain't got to do it all the time.
I know. You're just spitting facts. Rap culture went to shit, and NBA went to shit. And you know why? Because rap culture started following, and I don't want people gonna feel how they want. The rap culture started following a lot of with the clothing things. They started following a lot of fashion, especially started following a lot of European culture, and basketball started following a lot of European culture at the same time.
Exact same thing. Yep, that's why I said it doesn't feel like it's for us no more. Basketball, it doesn't feel like Black culture. We got to see, and think about it. Like a lot of the Marburys, the Stevie franchises, all of them, they from the hood. They us. We knew them. Like going back to when you got back on the about the draft. We don't know these niggas.
Yep.
I want people to understand. Do you know if LeBron would have just came in and embraced all his shit and stuff like that, we would have just been like, whatever, and we'd embrace LeBron just because LeBron is from Akron. He's from the hood. He grew up with a single mother, just like most of us. He could have embraced the culture, but he didn't. Right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, bro, you can't come in here thinking you the chosen one, you the Messiah, you're going to be the greatest of all time and expect niggas to fall in line. That's not how it works.
Nah, like we was once dudes really stuck. Once I think when it was, but when the switch happened where the NBA players stopped looking like us, it was all bad. It was all bad.
That's
And
because
you can attribute that to Adam Silver because Allen Iverson was on the sideline getting his hair braided in his fucking Philadelphia 76ers shirt. It's just like, hey, his mom on the sideline braiding his hair. He got his hair half braided. He whacking the game. He's sweating. He giving buckets. Get back on the sideline. His mom finished braiding his hair. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
yeah, and I get it. That was probably a little too ghetto. Can't do that.
Of course.
But I think we swung the pendulum too far to the other side. And
because they started to focus on clout other than actual basketball. Like in hip hop, they started to focus on beats other than lyrics.
I think the major shift in basketball, and y'all can quote me on this. I think the major shift happened and when I hate to say this because I'm a Spurs fan, but the day when Stoudemire stepped on that court with whoever else it was on the Phoenix Suns when Robert Horry clotheslined Steve Nash, after what happened with Malice in the Palace, and they just suspended people for stepping on the court and not even being involved, is the day when it was like, okay, basketball kind of is swinging back the other way. And I hate to point that out because ever since that day, Tim Duncan has been fined for laughing at Scott Foster. And
I guess, yeah, you're right. They tighten the screws up. They tighten the screws. And by tightening the screws, you pushed everybody from being normal to where it almost felt corporate. Not corporate,
right.
But you know, like way too
absolutely much. Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying.
And we stopped looking at guys like us. Like we didn't like Jordan wore a suit to the game, but Jordan never felt like he wasn't us. When you see these young kids, like what's the dude Williams, when he showed up to the game with the purse that looked like Big Bird. Ain't no, you not. I'm not carrying that. I know, Mike. I know none of y'all are wearing that. Like the stuff that they wear coming to games, it doesn't represent us at all.
Trash.
And every single week, y'all gotta fire stylists. Y'all gotta fire y'all stylists, bro, and go back to dressing yourselves. I know y'all get drafted, y'all get famous, y'all get all this money, and they say, "Oh, you need a stylist, you need a chef, you need a personality." Bro, fuck all of that, because that's what's stressing you young niggas out and driving y'all motherfuckers crazy. They getting y'all to spend on y'all chicken before y'all even get it. Okay, fire your stylist, fire your personality specialist, fire your nigga who writes your text messages, bro. Fire all the niggas.
It's a lot, bro. It's the paint and the nails. It's like there's no masculinity in basketball.
I hate it. And you know what? While we're talking about paint and nails and masculinity, let's talk about the Rockets trade. Yes. Rockets trade Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, number 10 pick for Kevin Durant.
Don't forget the 5 second round picks.
5 second round picks.
Obviously, the 5 second round picks.
Stupid.
I say this with the utmost respect, and yes, I do believe it's a stupid ass trade. But I also say this too, and I hope the Chicago Bears fans are listening. I don't care what nobody says, and I might get canceled for this. Me personally, I cannot trust somebody who is painting their fingernails to lead my franchise.
Yeah, no.
I just can't.
Now, okay, I'm gonna do this. Yes, I don't like it, but Caleb's my guy. Caleb's my guy.
The USC guy gotta rock me.
That's my dude. He's won me over. I was on your side, but Caleb, he won me over. But what I'm definitely not gonna do, Kevin Durant, and I'm gonna say this, and he might He might come after me because he likes going after people who talk shit about him. So I'm about to talk shit about you, Kevin Durant. You suck. You suck. You're trash. Okay? You're garbage. You should have never left Golden State. Because I'm arguing with people, oh, well, Kevin Durant, most unstoppable player we've ever seen in the NBA. Then why can't he win by himself? Why is it always he went to Brooklyn, it failed. He went to fucking Phoenix, it failed. He's gonna go to fucking Houston and it's going to fail. And he blames
He's the most what?
He is the most dominant offensive scorer we've ever seen. This is what people tell me.
That's bullshit.
Unstoppable. That's what they say. He's unstoppable.
Bullshit.
7 feet. And I'm just like, if that is the case, because everybody's like, oh, Rocket's going to win a championship. Y'all said that when he went to Brooklyn. Y'all said that when he went to Phoenix. What makes you think it's going to change in Houston?
Hey, Mel, let me ask you a question. If Kevin Durant is the most unstoppable offensive player in NBA history, what the fuck is Shaq?
I have no idea. I don't know what Michael Jordan is. I don't know what Kobe is. I don't know at this, because what happens is this is what we do. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow because this is going to be the topic. I just want y'all to know we are professionals at this job, and the way we can transition and do the things that we do without rehearsing is fucking amazing. I just want everybody to understand that.
It is.
Because what happens is people overvalue talent over production.
Talk about it.
Everybody wants to tell you how great someone is, but the fucking production doesn't match up. You can't tell me, oh, well, the Warriors wouldn't have won if KD didn't show up. I'm sorry, but the Warriors won before KD, during KD, and after KD. So the evidence shows that they would have done it regardless if KD was there or not.
Hello.
But you know what? But you know what everybody ignore, Mel? KD didn't win before the Warriors. He won with the Warriors, and after the Warriors, he didn't win again. You see how that rolls.
I just told y'all we do this shit. We didn't practice that. He went right to it. I didn't have to tell him. I just passed the ball. And it's what we do.
Mean, a lot of people will sit up here and tell people like Mel, tell people like me and like DJ Michael B that KD is unstoppable. KD is the most purified scorer that we've ever seen. But in the same game, because a lot of people like to bring up the Brooklyn game where his shoe was too big, and they went into overtime. In that same game in overtime, he went scoreless.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to hear that.
Nobody brings it up. No one brings up Jaylen Brown shut his ass out when they got swept in the first round of the playoffs.
I got an even better one, okay?
Yeah, another game in the fourth quarter. He went scoreless. Go ahead, DJ.
I got an even better one. Let's talk about this. Before Kevin Durant was even like the biggest superstar that he is now. How about this one? People forget the first 8 years of Kevin Durant's career. You would hear all the time, the easiest way to shut down Kevin Durant is to do what?
Body him.
Put a shorter player on him, 6'2", 6'3", and he can't score. He can't do nothing. I saw Chris Paul and all these other guys stop Kevin Durant over and over again because he couldn't dribble the basketball. When he first came in the NBA, he get a short person. He can't do nothing with a short person. He couldn't do shit with Tony Allen. He couldn't do shit with Chris Paul. He couldn't do shit with Mike Conley. We watched all that. We saw Kevin Durant play Memphis when Russell Westbrook got hurt, and Kevin Durant is the best player in the series, and they got swept because Tony Allen and Mike Conley bodied him up one-on-one, and Kevin Durant couldn't put the ball on the floor anymore. And you want to sit here and tell me this is the most unstoppable player in NBA history. Y'all stop this bullshit.
Yeah, because what they do is they be like, oh, well, he's 7 feet and he got a mid-range jump shot. And all those things are correct. Everything that you said is 100% correct. He is 7 feet tall. He does have a good mid-range jump shot. He's got all of those things. But it doesn't equate to nothing.
Talent. That's all it is.
It's just talent. He's uber talented, 100%. But at some point, there is a crossroads where talent and production must meet. And if they don't meet, fuck your talent. I don't care. I don't care about your talent if the production doesn't match it.
I hate to say this, and I think Moo and Mel would agree to this. I hate to say it. I love Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is nothing more than an undersized Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is an oversized Kyrie Irving. And I hate to say it like that, just because neither one of them can carry a team to a championship, but they are so regarded by fans. Look, Kyrie Irving is the best ball handler. He could do this. He could do it. He could score on every level. He could do this and that. We understand these niggas are skilled. Absolutely understand they're skilled. Kyrie Irving is uber skilled. There might not be a more talented, skilled player than Kyrie Irving in NBA history. Kyrie Irving can offensively anyway.
No, Kyrie Irving is the most skilled basketball player we've ever seen.
Facts. Outside of Kobe, because Kobe is up there too.
He's not. He's up there. Yeah.
But the difference, yeah, for sure. I get you. But the difference between Kyrie Irving and Kobe is that Kobe made himself unstoppable by working. Kyrie Irving knew he was unstoppable and didn't outwork Kobe.
No,
he didn't outwork the people.
Kyrie works. This is the difference. This is the entire difference. There's a difference between someone who is uber talented and works hard, and that they can elevate everybody around them. Kyrie Irving, for all of his gifts, all of his talents, he doesn't elevate everyone around him. It doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't work that way. Like, they don't give Michael Jordan that credit. Michael Jordan elevated everyone around him. Everyone. Kobe elevated everybody. Magic, Bird, those guys, they elevate everybody around them. Kyrie doesn't do that. Kevin Durant doesn't do that. Kevin Durant is only good for Kevin Durant. He is not good for the other four dudes on the court.
Which is why him and Russell Westbrook didn't work out, because they weren't good for each other. They were good for themselves.
Yeah, Steph makes everybody around him good. We've got way too much evidence of it.
Yep.
That's what great players do. Great players raise the how they say, they raise the floor and something I forgot how they say, but they make everybody around them better.
Yeah.
And honestly, for all of Kyrie's talents, for all of KD's talents, great players. If you're going to ask me if we were going to play a one-on-one game, who were some of the best players I would want? I'm taking Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Like, I'm taking those two. I'm taking Jordan. I'm taking Kobe. I'm taking Carmelo. I'm taking those niggas.
I'm taking Michael Beasley.
And Michael Beasley. But Michael Beasley is another one. Uber talented, but look what it got him.
Nothing.
And he's fucking talented out there. He is. I called him the left-handed Carmelo Anthony. Like, just nuts. Talent out the yin-yang, but it got him nothing. Because at some point, it's just got to, you got to make the other guys around you better, and you got to elevate your game when it matters most. You have to. Kevin Durant doesn't do that. It's easy. It was easy for him in Golden State. You had Klay Thompson. You had Steph. You had Draymond. You had Iggy. You had all these guys. Makes it easy. All Kevin Durant had to go do when he was in Golden State was just be Kevin Durant.
Yep.
That's it. That's all he had to do. He wasn't asked to be anything more than that. And a lot of Kevin Durant fans, it's hard for them to admit that. It's hard. They didn't ask him to do shit else, but just, hey, you don't got to lead it. You don't got to be the leader. You don't got to do no speeches. You don't got to be the defensive anchor. You ain't, just go be Kevin.
You ain't got to do shit. Just go score.
That's it. That's all you had to do, bro. And he didn't fuck it up, and he was good at it. But when he wanted to, that's why he emphasized on everybody as many times as he could that he is not a leader. He's just a hooper, because he being a leader, there is a responsibility that you must hold, and he doesn't want that.
He doesn't. He said it on numerous occasions.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not putting you in conversations with dudes that accept that responsibility.
Facts.
At all.
So,
with that being said, before we get out of here, we've seen, I guess, a slew full of traumatic injuries via Achilles happen throughout the league. Now, one Cameron did come out and say that it was particularly part of the low-cut shoes that a lot of the players are wearing.
I blame it on low tops.
A doctor has came out and also said because of the elevated heel in these types of shoes, a lot of players would be in her office a lot sooner than later. Do we think it's the shoes, or do we think it's more on the other side where a lot of NBA vets are saying that players are just playing too much basketball?
It's got to be the shoes.
It's got to be the shoes.
I think it's a mixture of both. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's a mixture of both. Y'all want me to elaborate on this?
I think it could be. Before I let you guys, I think with both, I think both design and sneaker and science can both come into play. We all know two things can be true at the same time. I do think that because of how these certain shoes are being developed or being made, it may, if you do look at the research, right, because a lot of people would like to point to ACL injuries to credit that to the turf. So if you do look at the research, you probably can find, never mind. You probably can find some attributing factors to the Achilles tendon and it being stressed out with an elevated heel. I do think, however, on the opposite side of the spectrum is a lot of guys, they play a lot of basketball before they get to the NBA. I mean, where you play a lot of basketball, they're playing the AAUs, they're playing the travel balls, and they get into college. And then after college or during college, they are playing the travel ball, they're playing the AAU, they're playing this, they're playing that. And then they get to the NBA, and it's a 82-game season. And that is the time that they decide to, I guess, tone it down or wind it down and not take their craft as seriously because, you know, they made the money or whatever the case may be. But no, I think both can attribute to it at the end of the day.
Niggas been playing basketball since basketball been basketballing, okay? And dudes doing it worse. They were playing outside on blacktop and all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? But the only difference is now these low top, we've always played in high top sneakers because you need the support on that Achilles and on the ankle and all of those things. Like that has to be stable. It's the same thing with football. Football cleats, I blame this on soccer. The popularity of soccer has fucked up sports. And I mean that soccer is a good thing, but soccer cleats look good. They do. They look better than football cleats. They've always looked better than football cleats.
And they're lighter. So
and they're lighter. Basketball, the reason why they switched it, and it was a soccer dude who brought low tops to the NBA. It was Steve Nash. He was the first one with him. So, and then everybody else started to pick up on it. And then all of the sneaker brands got involved and they started molding their shoes that way. Even like when Kobe tore his, the next shoes he made were the highs, the Grinches, where he had the stitches going up the back. Like you can't put that much stress on your foot in low tops and play basketball. It's weird. You need the stability. It is what it is. Until we get back to just making those type, and I don't think it needs to be high tops, but maybe go back to the mids at least. But it can be the lows.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I'm a midi person. You know what I mean? I rock with the mids. I'm not a lows, not a highs person. I'm more of a mids person. You know what I mean? Just Feels better. You know what I mean? I may be old school,
Yeah.
but it feels better.
Like people forget, like them high top Air Force Ones, those were basketball shoes. Like them shits felt like cement blocks on your feet, but
yeah. Them high top Converses, man. You know what I mean? High top Adidas, you know what I mean? High top Nikes, bro. Motherfuckers used to people don't remember the hypers, bro. They wasn't outside
like,
for that.
And if you're not from the 80s, you don't remember the Court Force, nigga. The Court Force, like my brother had every pair of them bitches. And yeah.
The Reebok pumps that came up to half up the calf, like it wasn't outside.
Yeah, like all that shit. But that's what they were for. That's why you didn't see Achilles injuries back then. It's like because they were supported. And my thing is, if you're going to wear lows, you got to wear ankle braces or tape your fucking ankles.
And I think because somebody brought this up, we lost DJ Michael B, dropped out guys GD. But they were talking about this in a group chat. There is some numbers to it. 8 Achilles tear this season compared to the 90s, from the 90s to the 2000s or the late 80s to the 2000s, there were I think 43 total.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people will say 8, it's not a big number. It's not really, that doesn't really matter. But if we're coming from a 43 total from the late 80s to now,
right?
And we've had 8 in one season, and like I said,
and that's not counting the ones that happened before that.
Hey,
all right, now Moolage is frozen, or is that me? I don't know. I guess it's the hard way to find out. Moolage is frozen, but I don't know if I'm frozen. So we're going to have to figure this out because he looks crazy. Looks like Wiz Khalifa right now. All right, I'm gonna give it. All right, it was Moolage. Okay, because he's jumping it right now. There you go.
Lost me for a second, but that's not even counting because we were, like I said, I was having a conversation with the homies and they were trying to say that because it was 8, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm like, we're not even counting the guys who tore their Achilles who we don't even hear about, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if the numbers is going up from that time period to now, it's like, then yeah, we might have to look at something. Is it?
Yeah, it's like ACL tears. It's like in football when they realized they had to get rid of AstroTurf.
Yeah.
It's like gotta get rid of it. It's gotta go. NBA is gonna have to look at the low cut sneakers and be like, I think this is the problem.
Yeah, or at least attributing to the problem.
Or at least attributing to the problem. Or at least attributing to the problem. Where you have to tell dudes mids or high tops because the lows ain't where it's at.
But I mean, is it far-fetched though? Because I bring this up and we can start to, we can start to get out of here after that. But I bring this up because after Lonzo Ball and the BBB pushing their low, right?
Mm-hmm.
We started to see Lonzo get hurt. We started to see LaMelo get hurt, right? But as soon as they transitioned or changed to another sneaker line or another sneaker brand, the injury stopped, right? Because the old business partner, he was using some cheap, materials and et cetera, right?
Right.
So you can attribute that because a lot of guys, right? A lot of these sneaker companies are trying to do mass orders because the popularity of shoes, et cetera. You can attribute them trying to get the mass orders out to you, them using more cheaper fabric, them using more cheaper materials, to where it's not all innovative, it's not all technology based, and it's attributing to these guys unfortunately getting hurt.
Right. And I think we have to get back to if they're going to do it, they have to be actual basketball shoes.
Basketball shoes, yes.
I think they're making them for dual purpose. because you'll sell more sneakers if you can wear them outside.
Yep.
But I
they're not
think
supposed to be worn outside.
right. So I think the purpose really needs to go back to just making a good basketball shoe.
Honestly, like just a really good, pure basketball shoe that's not like worn outside of basketball. Because I got basketball shoes that I don't wear outside of me hooping.
Yeah, and like I said, they can make 2 versions of them. Like if you want to make a casual version, cool. But then be specific, and like this one is specifically for basketball.
Yeah, I'm with that. But we are pushing up on 2 hours.
2
So we're going
hours.
to go ahead and get these final thoughts in and get up out of here. Lil, go ahead and kick us off, man.
Yep. All right. So you already know I appreciate being here. Tomorrow we will do part 2 of this. Right there, you see it. Sports is getting stupid. Me and the boy Moo. That'll be the thumbnail for the show.
Y'all know what it is.
We're gonna basically transition to take this from the basketball aspect and apply it to the football side, because we got a lot of ignorant football players talking some nonsense. So we're gonna bring it to the football side tomorrow.
Gotta know it, man. Gotta know it. You heard what the man said. We're gonna be talking that ish tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in Friday, 7 p.m. Western Standard Time. Make sure you guys also tune into the rest of the shows throughout the rest of the week. Basket should be back on Monday, regular scheduled programming. Gentlemen's Talk, if you missed the men's mental health episode, I suggest you go back and watch that. Some really good stuff that was talked about amongst my brothers. So make sure you guys tune in to watch that. Again, we will be back next week, PVT, and then we double it back again, talking at if. So make sure you guys tune in, keep liking, commenting, subscribing. We keep bringing all that dope ass content, and